Well, you might call him the ultimate wingman. Biologist Johannes Fritz is teaching a species of bird how to migrate again by, get this, you can see it in the footage there, flying right alongside them. It's incredible. The northern bald ibis was nearly wiped out in Central Europe, but populations are now making a comeback. Johannes joins us now. Good morning. Hi there, how are you? Thank you for being with us. So I want to start off by asking you about these birds in particular. And I think most people would assume that birds could use their own instincts to know where to fly during a migration period. Why do these birds, Johannes in particular, need some help in terms of knowing where to go?
But the bald ibis, as with many other migratory bird species, they have the ability to migrate, they have the ability to navigate, but the accurate route which they have to fly is a social tradition which passes over the generations. The juveniles have to fly once, usually with the parents or with conspecifics to the wintering site, and they have it in memory. And in the context of the reintroduction, there are no conspecifics which can guide these juvenile birds. So we have to do it by use of the microlights.
It's absolutely fascinating. We're looking at some footage of you right now, lifting off from the ground and then flying with the birds. It's absolutely spectacular stuff. How do you get the birds to follow you as you fly around? Does that just happen naturally?
It's not naturally that they follow a microlight, of course. The basic principle and method is that we hand raise this. So we take chicks from from breeding populations, from captive breeding populations, very young chicks with a few days. And they are raised by human foster parents, and so this parent imprinting is not towards the biological parents, but towards the human foster parents. And that's basically the reason why the birds follow the foster parents, follow them even if they sit in a microlight.
That's just fascinating. So we all know, Johannes, that migratory patterns for animals can be huge in terms of the routes that they span. And the migration route for these birds, the ibis, spans nearly 3,000 kilometers. And you just finished leading the birds through that migration route. So what type of challenges do you face when you're undertaking this journey?
I have to say, I did it already. I work since 20 years with this species. It's the 17th human-led migration we did in this year, but it is the longest migration we ever did, and it's the migration with the biggest number of birds. So we succeeded to release or to lead 36 juvenile birds to Andalusia. It was a journey with a lot of challenges. The main challenges are, on the one hand side, the weather conditions, particularly the wind. One need to know that we fly with a microlight which has a very low speed, 40 to 45 kilometers per hour. That's because that's the flight speed of the birds. And so wind conditions strongly affect the ongoing of the migrations. We cannot fly if there is strong wind. Particularly no headwind. And the other thing which also was challenging this year is we are dependent on the motivation of the birds. These birds, it's birds and animals, and they sometimes have no motivation to follow the microlight. So we have to stay and wait till they motivate.
Yeah, and I know, Johannes, the work that you and others are doing is having a real positive impact on the population of ibis in Central Europe. But just to wrap it up quickly here, I want to know, for you personally, why these birds in particular? Why did you want to work with them?
The main reason is that it's a red list species. It was critically endangered for more than 20 years, almost extinct in the wild. But we have a well-managed population in captivity. So we have basically the conditions, the preconditions to work with this Yes, and that's what we do. It's actually the first time ever that a migratory bird species is introduced. The bald ibis is such a species. We hope that with these methods and techniques which we developed during the last 20 years, more than 20 years meanwhile, can be used also for a range of other endangered migratory bird species.
All right, Johannes Frieds, thank you so much for joining us and for the work you do. It's stunning footage and such important work.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.